Welcome back to more Disco Elysium. Man, I'm feeling the beat here. Let me go ahead and change my clothes again. I want to put my conceptualization stuff back on. So it's that one, and then the shirts. There you go. Okay, good. So I've talked with this guy. Let me talk with the other two.
Go speak to Andre. I'm just annoyed.
A strangely dressed young man says without looking up from his toolbox. What if I want to speak with you first?
I suck at socialising, man. If you go speak to Andre, I'll have time to tune in, get a reading on your sign.
Before he's finished talking, he's already turned back to his tools.
Maybe you should just stand there, watch him rattle his toolbox, get to know his sign.
He has a toolbox. I need a new crowbar. I'm gonna stand there and observe him.
The contents of the young man's toolbox are organized in a neat yet eclectic manner. He is constantly checking out the various tools and parts and rearranging them slightly. It's a bit hypnotizing if you look at it long enough.
I have all kinds of screws.
He holds up a handful. You do have a whole lot of stuff.
I'd have a whole lot more stuff if I had a place where I could keep that stuff.
What do you do with all that stuff?
These are my consumer items and my means of production. I enjoy them. Talk to Andre. No point in standing here. The signs are really out of tune.
Alright, fine. I'll talk with the other guy first.
You see a youngish man bleaching the tips of his hair with a toothbrush. He puts the toothbrush down and extends his hand in greeting.
Hello, I'm Andre. It's a pleasure to meet you.
There is definitely something futuristic about his hair, aggressively so. You get the sense that this is what the future will look like. Imbecilic, yes, should the future ever come, it will look deeply imbecilic, like this guy.
I'm gonna shake his hand.
His grip is strong, sweaty, and warm. He's trying to project and inspire confidence.
This is my posse, Noid.
The young man with earrings looks at you suspiciously.
And Egghead. Egg!
The tape player high above his head continues to blast what is probably enodic music.
Together with a Settle Burger, who's out there right now, doing some seriously progressive sonic experimentation, we like to think of ourselves as music venue organisers.
Wait, how many music venues have you organized?
We have many in the pipeline, officer.
That means they haven't set up a single one yet.
Why are you here?
You see, we've been all over Jamrock North, prospecting for real estate to establish a new venue in.
Also for talent.
Yeah, thank you, Egghead. And while there is no shortage of raw, unfettered talent spinning tapes in Jamrock, we've had rotten luck with the real estate part.
Place is a shithole.
I apologise for my friend Noid's potty mouth. I realise this is not how you speak to a police officer. He has authority issues.
Next time, watch yourself.
I will, lawman.
The young man nods and drops a drill chuck into a plastic container.
Which brings me to the problem of occupied ecclesiastical property. I bet you've noticed the derelict hive of narcomania on the coast.
An attempt to pander to your perceived conservative sensibilities. No person his age would ever use a word like narcomania with a straight face. Don't fall for it.
Enough histrionics. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the church. And I'm not exaggerating. Even a place of spiritual refuge can become a magnet for all sorts of dopeheads and burnouts if left unattended.
Dopeheads!
Burnouts.
He angrily spits on a screw, then starts cleaning it.
Well, I'm sad to say, that's exactly what happened. Sad because we were just about to put Martinez on the map with one of the maddest dance clubs in Jamrock. Nah, strike that, in Revershol.
Strike that! The world!
I love Egghead. He's probably one of my favorite characters now.
And sadder yet, because the dopeheads and burnouts hold up in there with the worst kind.
He leans back a little, watching you with a steady, serious gaze, letting you imagine just how bad those dopeheads and burnouts really are. Good. This calls for an opinion. You're an expert in those.
I don't know. I'm a bit of a dopehead myself.
Oh, if it was just like that, it would be fine. But they're all so spooky.
He rushes to reassure you. What exactly do you mean by spooky?
I was hoping you would be the judge of that, officer. All I can say is, their spookiness is the kind that keeps us from restoring this church into a community centre and a place of spiritual refuge.
Also, they don't eat or clean the building. Shit's gonna collapse.
People just want to spin tapes without them spooking it up. Place has bad signs. No one can dance like that.
Thank you, Egghead. So you're gonna look into it, right? It should be a police matter. Getting them out. Whatever spooky stuff they're doing, I'm sure it's not what the Ecclesiastes meant their property for.
I'll look into it. Tell me more.
All right, man.
He claps his hands enthusiastically.
Andre's obviously very happy you took him seriously. The whole tent is. The boys exchanged giddy looks.
Who are these people inside the church?
Truth is, I don't really know. None of us do. I don't even know how many there are. All we've seen are glimpses.
You haven't even seen them and you want the police involved?
Well, there's also the machinery.
He leans in for emphasis.
This machinery is of the deeply mystical variety.
When I first scouted the place, back in February, it was abandoned, empty. Took some time getting the crew together. So about 2 weeks ago, we came here hoping to set the stuff up. Suddenly, there are all these strange machines lying around in there.
One of them has wires running into bowls of water. Wires into water. Never seen anything like it.
Andre, tell him about the feeling.
Oh, and it felt like there was something in there with us, watching us from the dark.
No, the other one.
Which other one? I'm not as in tune with my emotions as you are, Egg.
Felt like silence. Awful silence.
But you haven't physically seen anyone?
Not exactly. We've just seen someone who we think is a woman go in and out of the church. A couple of times. And we felt someone, or something, eyeing us inside. But that's kinda it.
The woman. Red hair, maybe? A lorry woman?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
But not really. Brown hair. Old. Heavy, dark sides.
The other one adds. So which one is it?
What Noid said.
What was that about? Some thing watching you?
Like, you aren't alone, you know?
It wasn't quite human, if you know what I mean.
Not human, as in a ghost. Do you know what he means?
It was this dark shape climbing upside down along the ceiling, like some kind of crab man.
A crab man?
Yeah, you know, the way it was climbing up and around the ceiling, like a crab.
It was stalking a cell, exhibiting ambush behaviour.
Odd. Crabs are usually marine creatures and not known for climbing walls.
Ambush behavior. Crab man.
Crab man!
Yeah, totally. I mean, I didn't personally see it. Estelle was alone that time, but I believe her. If she comes out running and says there's a crab in there, there's a crab in there.
You should ask her about it, but be nice. Don't tell her you don't believe in the crab.
The implications of this are too numerous to consider. Proceed with caution. Learn all you can before entering that dark building.
Can you tell me more about this machinery?
You should talk to Noid about that. I just got a distinct burnout and dopehead sign from them. Probably jacked up to some snuff station too. Probably, very likely.
With a small surge of PEA, alertness fills you, as if to say, this is a dark corner. Look behind it.
Jacked up to some snuff station?
It means like one of those rich boy private radio stations, where you can listen to people getting killed on, then jerk off to it. Sick shit.
Not that we would know anything about that. Noid just likes to relay stuff.
He appears sincere enough, sire. You could, of course, be wrong.
We're getting derailed here. In short, you can tell to Noid about the machines. He'll tell you more.
So how can you be sure they're burnouts and dopeheads if you haven't seen them?
Well, honestly, I can't, but I am.
This is a below-feeble attempt at avoidance. Basically, he is attempting to weaponize idiocy.
Wow, you can't, but you do. I should add weaponized idiocy to my own repertoire. I love how I mispronounced the word idiocy.
Hey now, I'm 70% sure they're substance abusers. Don't let all that technology fool you. Where do you think the drugs come from?
The gesture is super futuristic. Goes well with his spiked imbecile hair.
Alright, let's talk about something else.
Sure. What?
You mentioned some kind of Ecclesiastes owned a church. Who are those Ecclesiastes?
Oh yeah, that's a meteor name for the founding party. Thought it'd be cool to use it.
If you don't know what the founding party is, there might be a way to mask it with minor demagoguery.
Before we go on, what do you mean by Meteorin?
You know, of Meteo. Concerning Meteo.
Meteo?
Meteo, a country on Muindi. On the Muindi Isla.
He looks at you, squinting his eyes to see if you're kidding.
One of the poorest of the first world nations today, but once a great ancient civilization. Capital, Tilakos by Percentic.
Oh, the founding party. I do know them, but can you refresh my memory?
Come to think of it, I've never really looked them up, you know. I can't give you a precise definition, but they're a very powerful religious organization.
And?
And they have roots in ancient mass society. And they're the custodians of the Pericarnassian church. Plus, they anoint the innocents. They, like, made the innocentic system, no?
It doesn't sound like they would appreciate a dance club in their church.
You're totally wrong about that.
He shakes his head.
The Pericarnassian church is about love. And Nordic music is about love. I got love for my Pericarnassian posse. Love is the relay out of death. We dance.
He violently shakes the tape player as to see if he can break it.
Love is hardcore.
Unity. Unity.
Make some noise for my Insulindian posse.
He turns the volume up, then looks at you with a knowing nod, as if it's obvious you will now break into dance.
You feel it. The anodes and the cathodes coursing through you. Your big toe starts tapping along to the base, as if testing the waters.
I guess love can be pretty hardcore.
Oh yeah, it can.
He's coming around. You're getting it.
I don't quite understand what you're talking about. What's a posse?
Your posse's like your people, man. Like you got your cup posse. You look out for each other and you party together. That's a posse.
And where is your posse, detective? Nothing comes to you. The world is silent.
No words, just enjoy the beat and nod your head.
Feels good.
It sounds like you're just saying random things. Love, posse, make noise.
Are we?
He looks at you mysteriously.
Yeah!
I understand it was lame of me to suggest otherwise. Anodic music is about love, and so is the Pericarnassian church.
Yeah! Yakokata! The place to be!
He seems ecstatic that you share his vision of Pericarnassianism.
Do it for the masses. Do it for the crew.
His friend forms a fist with a screwdriver still in his hand, approvingly so.
I didn't want to say it, but it was pretty lame of you to imply otherwise. Anyway, you got more questions?
The one with the large head is still looking at you, nodding his head, waiting for your body to start moving.
Yeah! Let it out! Let the disco happen! Bring the disco into this world! Get this church shit on, and then dance there, motherfucker!
You feel like you could go for a little disco when, or if, they get this club going. You've got it in you.
I would love that if that were to happen in this game. I wanted to ask you about this tent full of equipment.
Yes. What?
I see you brought your own water.
Yeah. Good to have, bitch to carry. When I first scouted the place, I did some reconnaissance. I'm not sure the church even has running water.
And it's distilled too.
Oh,
He doesn't know what to say.
it's the one they sell at the fuel station.
It's like he's lying to you, my liege. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of.
What's with all the Nosafed?
The what now?
Gonna point to the bottles of the nasal spray in the corner. The Nosafed Ultra. We have a lot of it lying around.
Oh, the old Ultra.
He's like an actor looking to the souffleur for his line.
I have a major sinus infection, stuffy nose. We all do. Shit's all blasted up. Winter. Can't even breathe.
You sound fine to me.
Yes, that's all Nosafed's doing. Without the Noser, I'd be drowning in shit right now.
He nods energetically.
Nosafed is the shit.
Can I have some? I have some nose problems too.
Sure. Here you go, officer. The Noser. Blast away.
He picks one up from the corner and hands it to you. Hate to tell you, but it reeks of sweat in here.
It does, doesn't it?
Told you we have a smell problem.
Wait, I also smell ether. Why? He picks up a piece of the telephone cord and inspects it.
Ether? I don't smell ether. Do you, Noid?
No,
It's mixed with a peculiar chemical scent, like laundry detergent.
He sniffs the air, then shrugs. A shrug is good enough for us. Why say it when you can shrug it?
Alright, enough of this.
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
Estelle told me Noid put the padlock on the door. Why?
Oh, so you met her. Good.
He's not as glad as he would like you to think. There's concern in his voice.
I did ask Noid to install a measure against more drifters wandering in. It's a temporary fix, just something to contain the situation.
I had to do it in an hurry. Not my best work, but it should hold for a while.
How long have those people been locked in there?
Not long, like a week maybe?
He shrugs. How can you be sure they haven't starved to death?
I'm super sure they're alive. I mean, come on. I'm at least 90%, maybe 85% sure they're still alive.
Somewhere in the ruinous past that led you here, there was something called exams. You may have learned the term involuntary manslaughter there.
85% is good enough. No one lives forever, baby.
Exactly. That's exactly what we thought.
The cage of the rage! Rough blaze!
Egg means the situation is monitored. It's relatively safe. No one has died yet.
The man nods grimly. I need the key.
Of course. Noid, give the officer the key.
All right.
The speed freak dips into his belt pack and produces a yellow key. He then makes a sudden, cool infused move, tossing it in your general direction. Be the cool cop, catch the key as it flies towards you. 58% chance, let's try it, it's a red check.
You sense the trajectory of the little piece of metal and plastic. The object makes a small ringing sound as it approaches. Just the tiniest chime to your left.
Catch it.
Ka-ching! The key hits your palm. The speed freaks nod to you approvingly.
Gonna bask in the glory.
The young man with ribcage-shaped suspenders looks at you, standing there, with a goofy grin on your face. The word august, used as an adjective. That's how cool it feels to be old and cool in the eyes of the young. Let's face it, you're near death, yet bathed in the golden rays of stately grandeur, like a late summer's day, like a daddy-o, like a tequila sunset.
Damn right, I am Tequila Sunset. Arriva.
Of course you are. It's too late to be a tequila sunrise now. There will be no sunrise. Not for you.
Right, other questions?
Sure, man. Tell us what you want to know. Let's do it.
So there is a logic white check here. Maybe everything isn't quite as you've been told. Take a moment to analyze. I'm gonna say that's it for now.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
Alright, let me see what I can get in terms of logic here. Let me check. So this shirt will help. These glasses will help. This hat will help. That's a lot of logic already. That's 3 logic from the items. Let me make sure there's nothing else I can put on here. My guy's looking quite goofy. Drama, visual calculus. What else we got? Here we go. More logic. I have a lot of logic items. That's a minus logic. Okay. think that's pretty good. We're up to +4 on the logic. Let me look at the journal. Help the Ravers start a nightclub. The Ravers ask you to help turn the church into a dance club, but there are already some people inside. Find out who these people are and what they want. And sync the signs with Noid. Noid doesn't want to talk to you. The signs are not in sync. Guess you need to help him and his friends out somehow. Prove that you're one of the crew. Who knows what he'll tell you. Okay.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
He looks excited. The tips of his hair are sharp and white. The bleach has consumed almost all of the toothbrush on the mirror in front of him. So now we're up to 83%.
A number of things don't add up. Let's take a look. How about gather around, kids?
Okay, kids. Now gather around.
The young speed freak puts down a busted capacitor and looks at you. The one with the large head seems very enthusiastic about whatever you have planned. Their would-be leader is less amused.
Sometime in the past, I'm not sure when and where, but betrayal was involved. I fell sick and became the shadow you see now. But before that, I have reason to believe I was a police detective.
But you still are.
I was good enough in this job to be awarded the rank of Lieutenant Kim. I could have been captain, imagine that.
What happened?
Disco happened.
I've been trying to say we need the next step in dance music to happen fast.
Shut it.
What? I have. I've said that.
Now, obviously, that might as well have been 1,000 years ago. But there's still some detective left in me.
The young speed freak is silent. He senses something is wrong.
This isn't the making of a club. It's a tent full of laboratory equipment for manufacturing drugs.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers.
He points at the speaker.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
Where's his friend? Did he lose his friend?
What do you mean, friend?
The other speaker, you only have one.
It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction and anodic music. Other speaker.
You have no headphones. Wouldn't a cell need her headphones to spin tape?
What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing.
I know you pawned them, likely for the lab equipment and drug ingredients.
I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients.
That Nosefed is here for its active ingredients.
He said it was for his nose. What more do you want?
The distilled water, a cornerstone of a clean lab.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
The ether in the air, a useful solvent. Good for getting acting agent out of the solution.
Make up your mind. First it's the sweat, then it's the ether.
He smiles nervously. There's no need for me to pile on anymore, is there?
No shit.
He sounds tired. In short, you tried to use a police detective to set up a drug lab.
That's... Come on, that's...
Punishable by summary execution?
It's not.
His eyes are wide with fear. So, what are we going to do with you?
What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. It wouldn't take a lot of pushing. The optimal way to go about this would be indifference. It begins by you telling him you don't care about any of this.
I don't really care. I just wanted to crack the case. Do what you want and I'll do what I want.
Really?
He sounds relieved. Of course not, really. I'm a cop. Now tell me what's going on immediately.
Or else?
There's an audible clank as he lets the wrench drop into his toolbox. Haven't you heard? I'm the dirtiest cop this side of the river. I'll make your life hard for you. Using every connection I've got.
He thinks for a moment, then opens his mouth, but closes it again. Then finally raises his hands.
Things are just way too hard for an entrepreneur in this city. It's not like we're not going to turn the church into the wickedest club in East Revershoal.
Because we are! We totally are!
We just got to turn it into a speed lab first.
You know, to get our foot in the door.
And why did you need me?
Like I told you, Spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty, and now it's all spooked up.
They're not really spooky, are they?
No, man. They're spooky, all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started cooking speed in there.
But the sign was way off too. I couldn't feel the love at all.
So, what now?
This is it. Judgment time.
Okay, let's see what I want to do. I'm not going to evict them. I'm not going to arrest them. So I could proceed with both. Or I could have him build a lab and then the club. Give me your cash. I'm gonna take a bribe first.
Come on, man. Really?
The young man doesn't move. His earrings rattle from the tension. With his jaw clenched, he says,
No fucking way.
Yes, fucking way.
The would-be leader points at his friend, his fingers shake in the air.
Without a word, the other speed freak pulls a red wallet out of the toolbox and hands it to you.
Nice, 21 bucks.
The disdain is palpable. His eyes pierce you like lightning as he lets go of the wallet.
I love being a corrupt cop. Now give me the rest.
We don't have any more money. You robbed us blind.
Ask for a cut. It's the right time to become business partners.
Okay, yeah, I definitely need a cut. Keep the lab, but I want a cut of your operation.
Okay, that's cool with us, right?
He looks around.
Yeah!
His friend nods, a huge peroxide blonde head.
10%.
Don't be offensive, Noid. We could use a partner on the other side. It's safer with someone watching over the operation, keeping the other cops out of our soup. How does 35% sound?
That's actually pretty juicy.
You could probably justify taking 70%. The risks are greater for you as a police officer.
That's true. I think 50 is pretty fair, but I'm gonna go with 70. 70%. I'm a police officer. I could be risking 30 years of service for this. Actually, I should take 75%.
Come on, man. You're killing us.
It's 75%, or I'm taking you to the holding pen right now.
Fuck this. Take us in or kill us. We're not bad any longer.
Sorry, I'm with Noid on this. Take us in or do it for 50%.
50% it is.
Okay. I want you to know there's no bad blood here.
He looks around. There are no objections.
You deliver us the church and keep the law away from it, and we'll give you your share, all right? Be sure to return every couple of months for your pay.
Hang on, I thought I'd get some money quickly.
Come now. It will take weeks to get everything set up, start making the produce, and deliver it round to the needy. This is a lengthy process.
All right, okay.
Okay, we're all cool now, right? What's the next step? What's gonna happen now?
That's it for now.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah!
Okay, let me get my conceptualization stuff back on. There's that and my shirt here. Good, let me put this hat back on. Let me talk to this guy who doesn't like me.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Noid?
He stooped over his toolbox as usual, shuffling bolts around angrily.
That's fine, man. But I've got to warn ya, our signs are still off. It'll take some time for me to get my sign on.
But I thought we'd be okay now, sign-wise.
I'm doing what I can.
He continues to rearrange his tools.
It's not easy for him. It probably took him years to get used to Andre. He looks like a well-thought-out individual. The synchronization might be worth it in the long run.
I saw the sticker on the padlock. Can you tell me anything about it?
The sticker? You mean the yellow one? Can you describe it to me?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
It's this one. Are you familiar with it? I'm going to show him the sticker on the ledger.
Seems like my creation has found its way into the legal bureaucracy. What did you want to ask about it?
What makes the sticker so modern?
Simplicity was brought to us by a classical soul artist modernism, but that was a tasteful, harmonious simplicity, right? Well, hardcore is not tasteful or outwardly harmonious. It's a warning shot. This will be dangerous. The echo of man's loss, haunting him. The sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing.
Seems awesome.
It is.
What's it supposed to be?
The dead guy smiling.
And what does it mean? Why is the dead guy smiling?
He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always already dead. How can we ever smile then? Because history is a lie, and so are its deaths. The present moment and life are the hardcore. The hardcore expels death. Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats.
Or drugged out of his mind, come to think of it.
He could be drugged out of his mind.
Or drunk, or in a clinical coma, or glad to be dead. But those versions suck.
I think we've exhausted the subject for now.
I guess one could write an entire treatise on the thing. But what for?
Tell me about the machines you saw in the church.
Weird stuff. Specialised. There was a data processor and some sort of long-wave machinery. Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked up Samaran science sign. You know, the kind that goes headfirst into the supernatural.
What's wrong with the supernatural?
Nothing's wrong with it. You should definitely be researched. You can still do sick shit with it though.
The sickest. That's perhaps why it should be researched.
The supernatural. So you think it's real? That it actually exists?
Most of it doesn't exist. But there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist. Because the moralists think it's too dangerous for the plebs. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders pretending to be human, folk rights, that kind of stuff.
Why are you called Noid?
The hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed with the law at
Edit
this
the bump.
moment.
He picks up some sort of widget.
It's not easy to reach a harmonic resonance of signs without some adjustment.
What about now? Are the signs all right now?
Nah. Still strongly out of sync. Stage gamma disalignment.
What?
You heard me.
He examines the small metal bolt in his hand. Okay, maybe I'll come back later. Let me check one more thing with this guy.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
Oh no, what's this? What is this? You've encountered an error. Will you send us a bug report so we can find a way to fix the issue? No? Am I okay? What happened? I think we're okay. I wanted to ask you about this tent full of equipment.
Yes. What?
Alright, enough of this.
He nods enthusiastically, no doubt a little relieved.
That's it for now.
As always, we'll be right here, waiting patiently for the news. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure there was no other dialogue because it was giving me the option to influence them to turn the church into a lab, a club, or both. And I just wanted to make sure there was nothing else I could do with that dialogue tree. So let me go investigate the church now. First things first, though, I do want to talk to her.
The shaggy-haired girl kneels on the sea ice. She looks up as you approach.
So you talked to my associates, right? Are you going to help us? With the church, I mean.
I'll help you, all right.
Great. Let us know if there's any progress, will ya? We've been waiting for weeks here.
The others told me you went inside the church. What did you see in there?
Oh, that. You're not going to believe me. There's no point in me telling you.
She's less prone to blurt it out, crab man, than the others.
We'll see. Go ahead and tell me.
Okay. I went in and I saw a woman next to one of those machines there. Noid calls it a mainframe. She was dressed like someone who's been raised by their grandmother, you know, strange old clothes. Had this absent expression, didn't say anything, just stood still.
Go on.
And then, you know, right behind her, a man crawled down the wall. Upside down like a crab. Down the church wall. I think the woman didn't even know he was there. He was completely silent. He stopped right before he got to the floor. Then just hung there like that, looking at me. Right at me. I fucking turned around and walked out. End of story.
Like a crab, you say?
The lieutenant nods, his face is stone. What did this crab man look like?
It was too dark. I couldn't tell exactly.
She shakes her head.
Come on. She obviously could. She already went into detail.
Come on, quit stalling on me. What did he look like?
He looked like a banger, okay? He was all muscular and stuff. Had a mesh tank top. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that only made it scarier in a way.
A crab and a banger?
The lieutenant raises an eyebrow.
Yes, a banger. As in a mess gang member. I know what it sounds like, but that's what I saw.
You were wrong. I do believe you.
Why?
What would you stand to gain?
Nothing. Anyway, what else?
I'd like to know more about your associates.
My associates? I haven't got much to say about them.
She blows on her chilled fingers. What do you mean? You must know something about them.
Of course I do. I just don't tell people about my friends and who they are and so on. I don't provide information on them.
To the cops.
What about you? Tell me something about yourself.
Me? I'm a silver bird.
Aha, okay. Maybe I'll ask later about all this.
Don't know what makes you think it'll be any different later, but...
Your associates tried to use me to set up a drug lab. I'm guessing you knew this plan.
I did, and I'm sorry. For what it's worth. Which isn't much.
She doesn't appear surprised.
This is why I didn't go into the tent. Typical delinquency.
The lieutenant looks at the ocean, squinting his eyes.
You don't get to choose your posse, they choose you. Mine are idiots, but they're mine. I tried to talk Andre out of it. I even tried not to lie to you.
Indeed, she merely tried to omit the truth instead.
Instead, you opted to omit the truth. It's the same thing.
I know, but I knew you'd see through their plan too. I'm not an idiot. I should have been able to control them, and I will in the future. I promise. May I ask, what did you tell them?
I could try to lie about my actions in front of the lieutenant or tell the truth. See, I kind of want to do the check because I'm the kind of person that wants to try and do every check, but at the same time, I really like this answer better. So I'm going to let the dice decide. It's 83%, and whatever comes, comes. I'm going to try to lie about my actions in front of the lieutenant.
Your words flow sincere.
I called it crime prevention. You'll have to go at it straight if you want to have it in you.
As good
If
a
you have
call
it
as
in you.
any. Better not to have made one at all, though. You lose your mind trying to mediate everything these delinquents come up with.
Thank you. I'll get them under wraps, I promise.
Actually, that's it for now. Okay. We're gonna go in the church. It's time. I feel like I've been putting this off for many episodes, but the time has come.
Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock, carelessly drilled into the wood.
Going to open the padlock with the key.
The lock turns easily. You hear a click as the shackle pops open. Feels like electricity and a very small piece of nothingness.
Let's go.
As you do, you hear the echo of the doomed commercial area, its black holes and dusty machines. Then the feeling passes. A great whoosh of air rushes into the dark innards of the church, as though rushing to fill a great vacuum. In the heart of the city.
Nice, interesting. Okay, let's see what we got here. A strange stillness fills you as you look ahead. You should walk here, not run. I respect that. I'll walk in the church. This grotesque wooden figure looks half finished. Feels like it's been trying to become one with the church. This figure was added later. It's not part of the original church. I like the music in here. More of the forked lightning pattern you saw outside. Bark beetles? No, it looks intentional. Some long forgotten style. Definitely something very mysterious here. The blackboard is filled with complex equations. They look recent. The bowl is filled with water. A live wire runs directly into it. They were not kidding.
The silence in this part of the church, it's almost palpable. All the shifting matter and shuffling of living things is gone. Nothing seems to exist beyond the church anymore. Maybe if you were to stand in just the right spot, even your footsteps would be completely silent.
Wait, I think I still hear something.
And then it's gone. Almost all of it. But for the faintest of hums, you can hardly hear your own breathing.
I'm going to stomp my feet and clap my hands.
You produce a few muffled thumps, after which the silence feels even more total, somehow.
And I yell as loud as I can.
Your voice is barely audible. Not a howl, but the softest of whimpers.
What's happening?
The lieutenant points to his ears and shakes his head. Then he leans closer.
Can you hear anything?
Almost nothing. It's beginning to worry me.
The church just has strange acoustics, some engineering trick.
His detached tone conceals how uncomfortable he is. Maybe the church was designed this way to prevent boisterous activity, singing and dancing on its premises.
Whatever it is, it's definitely real. Something odd is happening around us.
The lieutenant doesn't reply, but you can sense him tense up next to you.
Going to look up into the bell tower.
The orderly rows of ceiling panels become barely visible, then disappear completely in the darkness of the tower overhead.
Have a perception check at 72% here to try and see beyond the shadows.
It's like there's something moving up there. A shadow has emerged from the tower and it's making its way toward you through all the other shadows.
The crab man. On the ceiling?
Yes. The darkness makes the ceiling feel infinitely far away.
Follow the shadow's movements.
It's not a shadow anymore, becoming more substantial as it gets closer. The shape of an animal descends.
Officer, is there something up there?
The lieutenant follows your gaze, attempting to see whatever it is that you are seeing.
Oh no. You've lost sight of it. Where did it go?
Let me try to blink. The crab man is here.
You see something hanging from the rafters, looking straight at you with dark eyes. Maybe it's possible to talk to it.
Interesting. Kind of bizarre and creepy.
The shadow is a man. A man made of the same stuff as the carpentry of the building. He is studying you intently. The crab man.
Hey, who's there?
The man leaned forward a little, fixing you with a steady, unreadable gaze, then speaks.
Habitual alcohol use has made you into a scared little pussy, Holmes. But don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. You come to the right place.
That accent is Villalobos, a peninsula in Mesk and a district in Jamro. There's a sizable contingent of Villalobos-speaking Mesks in Rivershore.
The right place for what?
Here you can receive the mother's love. And when you're ready, She would take your hand and lift you out of the despair at the bottom of that bottle.
This man is obviously a habitual narcotics user. Do we really need to question him?
I'm put off by this religious stuff, he thinks. And maybe the ceiling climbing, too. It's all very hard to square with the lieutenant's own view of reality. Hey, and what was that about the bottle again? You haven't even drank that much lately. Lay off it already. Shish.
I'm a policeman. I need to talk to you about police things. I don't know anything about alcohol use.
Oh yeah, sure. You don't know anything about alcohol use. You got it all under control, Way. I could smell the control all the way over here.
I'm doing just fine, thank you.
I know it's hard to admit that you got a problem. I was like you once. Couldn't take an honest look into my own heart and see I was in pain.
You know, actually, since we're here, you may want to pay attention to what the ceiling climber is saying.
Look at these crazies. What is this shit?
Let's see what I want to say here. You know, alcohol is central to my identity. If I wouldn't drink, I just wouldn't be me.
The grave's coming for your little identity sooner than you think, Holmes. You sure you're ready? The mother could set you free from all that shit.
His words echo in the cold air of the church.
This is the Church of the Mother of Silence. You are welcome here.
He sways gently on the beams, waiting for you to take it all in.
You have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. Is he just trying to throw you off your game? Whatever it is, he's quite confident about it. Just look how gracefully he sways. 'Tis not an act, my liege, save him perchance he hath deceived his very self. This man is a zealot.
You must be the crab man.
Never known myself to be a crab. But if that's the name you got for me, I won't stop you from using it.
If you're not a crab, then what are you?
I always thought of myself more like a flame, flickering along the rafters and beams. It may be that I gotta work on my technique.
What were you before you became a crab man?
I was in a gangway, but my memories of that time are fading. Most of them are already gone.
I lost my memory too, and it haunts me.
No, man. You gotta let that shit go. Then the mother's light touch will fill you with rapture.
He looks at you as if he wants to pat you on the back.
Do you remember your name, sir?
Tiago's my name, but those syllables don't mean much to me these days. A name isn't just your identity, but also, so to speak, your place amongst your fellas, your place in the world. I ain't got no use for such a place anymore.
My name is Harrier Dubois, and my place in this world is Lieutenant Double Your Freighter.
That's just the thing, Holmes. None of that matters.
He sounds melancholy. Saying this, his limbs are a mere shadow below the ceiling. What are you doing here?
This is a special place. There's a perforation in the world up there. A way out into nothingness. This church was built around it for purposes of veneration.
He nods toward the ceiling.
I circled it, nurtured by the silence bestowed by the mother. One of these days, I'll be pure enough to go drink from it directly.
Who's this mother of silence you keep talking about?
Oh, that's no simple question, Essa. She is one who can be painted or sculpted. She is a cavity in the dark beyond sense. She saved me, but I couldn't describe her to you. No one can, Holmes, and no one ever will.
What will happen once you drink from this perforation?
I will be incinerated, but not destroyed. Finally, I won with the state of the world before reality began.
That sounds a bit like substitution behavior, no? You know a thing or two about that.
You sure you didn't just switch one drug for another?
It's not like that at all, man. It's just faith and joyful service.
Too gleeful, those words. He is lying. Not to you, to his very own self.
Hey, not judging. I've got a drug problem myself.
I can see, and it saddens me. But devotion can save you. It saved me.
Faith is a kind of drug.
I heard that before, Way. And I know I can't convince you on the spot. But think, when's the last time you woke up from silent communion with a hangover, regretting what you did last night?
He shakes his head.
There are drugs darker than alcohol circling your system.
I think love might have been my drug of choice, and I think I'm still hungover from it.
She took you for a good spin, huh? Don't worry, bro. That love is but a drop compared to the ocean of the mother's love.
He looks at you gravely.
The mother will eat all of you and never spit you out.
I guess you have a point.
I know it will take time. Don't sweat it. I know it will take time. Don't sweat it.
I still don't understand what you're doing in the church.
I'm a seraph, Holmes. I sing the mother's glory.
You should sing for me, the superstar cop.
I ain't from no Marietti, if that's what you're thinking. And the song I sing is silent as the mother.
Marietti is a mesque style of music and dance, commonly seen at all manner of festivities, especially weddings. It's delightfully quaint, owing to its peasant origins. He lost his cool there for a moment. Seems you hit some nerve.
How did you even find this place, this church?
Hard to say. I think I did some construction work here, back when I still had material worries. Up there, I realized what the true purpose of the church was. Been spending a lot of time here ever since. The past is nothing to me now, Way. It didn't belong to me.
Right, I had other questions.
The sinewy figure lingers on the wooden beams, blending into the shadows.
You've been here a long time. Do you know why the church was abandoned?
Police raid a while back.
He responds, his voice suddenly flat.
Did you witness it?
Not really, or at least I don't remember much of it anymore. The mother's love has done its job. That's what's so great about the mother. It lets you forget about everything.
Do you know where the other spooker is? I'm gonna point to the strange machines.
Other spooker? Oh, esa viejita es muy estudiosa. Don't know, Holmes.
So this translates to, that little old lady is very studious.
Viejita is grandma?
Wait, so there is another person living in the church, and it's a viejita?
No. I just call her viejita because of her clothes. She's actually quite young. Or maybe not that young. Age is just one of the many masks we wear.
He scratches his head.
Wait, what if it's Ruby?
Did it ever seem to you like she was hiding here from something?
The lieutenant seems to be thinking the same. He takes out his little notebook.
You mean like a fugitive?
He glances at the abandoned radio computer on the other side of the nave, pulsing with light, then shakes his head.
No, man. Quite the opposite. I don't think she cared much about authority or anything else for that matter. Maybe only about her machines.
I see. And where is she now?
The lieutenant seems contented with the answer.
I told you, Holmes. I don't know.
How can you not know when you both live here?
Don't really follow her comings and goings. Just see her typing on her computer now and then. We got different interests.
So you got nothing else to tell me? How she looks, what she does, who is she?
I'm afraid not, Ese. You just have to wait until she comes back, or...
He shrugs.
Or search through her radio computer.
Some ravers want to turn this place into a nightclub.
The ones in the tent outside? Right? I see them. Guessing they're the ones who call me a crab. Probably scared of me.
Wait, do they have a reason to be scared?
Nah, man. They look pretty funny. And I don't harm no one anymore. Anyway.
So what do you think about the nightclub, that is?
Why not? They wouldn't bother me none. I'm usually way up there, imbibing. Ain't no music on earth that can reach where I go. Might even be nice to have some company.
He said that in spite of himself. He's more attached to the human than he'd like to think.
Okay then, thanks. Whatever this guy's smoking, that's what I want. And by me and I mean my cop, of course. I think that's gonna do it for this episode. There's more to explore here in the church. I think this whole game is opening up in many strange directions that I did not expect, but it's really exciting. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode.
Thanks for stopping by the Renaissance Gaming Monastery. I hope you join our community on Discord and Twitter. These videos are produced with a lot of hard work and love. If you think they're worth $1, I'd be grateful for your contribution. You can send a thanks donation or become a member on YouTube. You can also support through PayPal, Patreon, or even with cryptocurrency. All links are in the description. See you on the next video.